I bet you thought that I forgot to put an intro again, didn't you?
Got him!
Hello and welcome to Achievement Hunting 101. I'm FuFuCuddilyPoof and this is level 198. Joining me tonight is KooshMoose.
Well, hello.
Big L.
69 plus carry the one. Almost 200.
Yeah. And Matrarch.
Salutations.
All right.
Oh, Charlotte's Web, eh?
You know, feeling a little bookish.
That's a movie I have not seen in a very long time.
That's
Since,
about right.
Elementary school.
I feel like even after the moment you've seen it, you haven't seen it in a long time. It just always feels like one of those movies that you watched a long, long time ago.
I feel like it was one of those movies that when I was in elementary school, we watched it all the time because it was probably like one of 4 VHSs that they owned. So it was just always there. And now that, I don't know, I've been in elementary school in a very long time, I haven't seen it in a very long time.
So they didn't do any teaching in your elementary school?
I don't know. It's been a long time.
Okay.
I don't know. I remember there was something with numbers and the serial killer was across the street or something like that.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, another time. I'll just leave it there. Maybe we'll tell that story for patrons. But either way, let's get into our real topic of discussion, not serial killers. Question this week is Devin would like to have your opinion on what is the worst obtainable achievement, Xbox achievement, and why. And it can be whatever reason you'd like. So, yeah. What it would be everybody's worst achievements? Let's start with Michelle.
All right, so since we're starting with me, let's start with Freem, who is not Freemhaven still. Just Freem. Freem's vote is the billionaire achievement in prominence poker. He says, this was just a stupid amount of money to try to get. The first person to earn it was 16 months after the game was launched, and I think I recall that the devs actually gave someone enough money just to show that it worked. To date, there have been only 26 people that have earned it. The first 7 people were pretty isolated, so they likely, quote-unquote, won the chips. But then you see pairs of people earning it at the same time, clearly just pooling their money and trading back and forth. Also, just going to point out Fug, because Fug said mine is similar to Freem's, pretty simple game dragged down by an utterly stupid achievement. Now, I have no experience with prominence poker, but I've definitely heard this shouted out many times. Well, you know, achievements like this can be a turnoff, right? So, and remember the crux of Devin's question here is an obtainable achievement, right? So this removes all the things that have never been earned, like unlocks that don't happen. People have earned this, but I remember when that came out that the devs gave someone a whole bunch of coins just to show, hey, this is doable. And I wonder what that really proves. Like, how long do they want you to spend just playing the game? Now, have all 3 of you played Prominence Poker?
I've played it quite a bit.
Yes.
Yeah, we all.
Okay, so there's no...
We might have played it together.
Yeah, I feel like early on in the podcast life, there might have been like a group of you guys who got together one Friday night or a couple Friday nights and played some Prominence Poker. But there's no way to like.
Yeah, I won with the 2-7 legit. I'm awesome.
All in.
It's an achievement to win with the 2-7. Yeah.
Oh, nice. So there's no idle way to earn money in this, right? It's not something where like if you log back in, you're gonna get a certain amount. Like you have to actively play and hopefully win this money over the course of time.
Yes and no. Like theoretically, you don't have to play the game an absurd amount of hours, but more likely than not, you do. Like, there is a daily bonus where, depending upon your level, you get X amount of chips, and after, or you get X amount of chips, and every single day, it multiplies that up to, I think, 5, if you do 5 days in a row, or it might be 7, so, like, it's a week. So, theoretically, you could just keep logging in each day and collecting chips, and eventually you'll get there. But I mean, my God, that's would still take so long.
Yeah, that sounds really, really awful. So yeah, question was dropped, of course, my immediate thought was something like, seriously, something very grindy that's well beyond the time you'd play. Another achievement that came to mind for me was the 100 hours in Beautiful Katamari, which I know I've mentioned many times because the whole game is maybe 20, maybe 30, but you can idle that, so that's not a huge issue. So what I wound up settling on for my choice for this one is actually one of the recent Gems of War update achievements, and this one's Lord of the Horde. I'm not going to go into a whole thing about Gems of War. I know that got discussed plenty on the podcast once upon a time. But this is a case of an achievement that has 3 layers of RNG. So you have layer 1, where you have to do these 4 battles, and at the end of the 4 battles, you have to hope you get a mimic chest. You don't usually get those. Then if you get a mimic chest, you have to hope that you get a specific type of mimic in there. And then if you get that, you have to hope that that drops a troop card that you need. And if you've ever played Gems of War, the RNG is pretty much perpetually against you. And I just want to highlight this one person on True Achievements who noted their struggles to get this so far, just to give you an idea of how hard this is for some people. And I do have to give the caveat, I didn't have this problem. I actually got very lucky. I got on my second Horde Mimic chest, I got the troop drop and I'm done with this achievement. But this one person, actually, they just got the achievement. This is their gamer tag is Zandler. This is their final numbers trying to get this. It took them 45 days. 45 days of grinding for 8 hours a day.
Oh my gosh.
So that's 360 hours, or not 300, 360 hours of grinding-ish. It's a lot.
That's
2,600 boss chests. That's the first RNG bit. 283 mimics. That's the second. And then finally 18 mimic hordes that then eventually dropped one of these troops. That's the worst kind of obtainable achievement, because you're sitting there and you're putting in the time, you're doing what you have to do, but to have to sit and wait through all of these layers of RNG when you know they're stacked against you. And there's other layers too. Like, you have to be a high enough level to even fight these battles, because even though you can do the battles that trigger them on a low level, once you get into the battle, this battle happens at the highest possible difficulty. So there's just so much bad with this achievement, especially for somebody just jumping in or somebody who's playing this game super casual. So yeah, as an obtainable achievement goes, this one's pretty terrible, to the point where of the 60,000-ish people who've played the game, and of course not everyone's still playing to this point, only 114 people have unlocked it. So yeah, that would be my nomination.
Gems of War really has gotten to the point where it's a terrible free-to-play game when it comes to their achievements.
There was a point for One List, Two List where Devin was telling me he wanted to nominate Gems of War for a bad list. And I argued, I don't think it is a bad list. It's really a list that rewards people who've stuck with it, which is kind of the argument you get with Gears of War 4 and 5. But no, these last couple, it is a bad list. And it's probably been a bad list for a lot longer, but it's only getting worse as it goes on. But they're all obtainable.
I would agree with you on that. Gems does, the list for Gems is good, as you're always working for something. But yeah, these last few updates, it has been awful.
Right. This other achievement they put a couple updates ago is to get 20,000 miles in one journey. Since that achievement was made available, last week was only the second time that achievement was even available. And to get that achievement, you have to be a high enough level. You have to play something like 200 battles in that week in that particular game mode. That they've not been good lately. But again, all obtainable. You can certainly still complete the game.
All right. In that case, let's go to you, El.
Yeah, so when you think about achievements that people hate, I guess generally they are going to be, as we talked about, RNG or grindy or hard. Let's read a couple of patron responses that may be common, may have a common thread. Chewbacca, what a Wookiee, otherwise known as Chewie on Ice, said, "For me, I'd say seriously, it's not the most obnoxious grind that exists, but I feel like it's an iconic representation of all of them. It's devs saying, we know this is a terrible thing to make you do, and we're going to make you do it anyway. I might be slightly biased because this one has dominated my Tuesday nights for over a year and will do for months to come. I like the social aspect of doing it, but would much rather it had involved actually playing something properly." And Wild West 08 said his worst obtainable achievement is Seriously 4.0 in Gears of War 4, as well as Slaying It, which I believe is 5,000 public kills. The 4.0 version was the reason I stopped with the Gears games. Slaying It didn't count any of the previous kills we'd made before the update with achievements. If you grinded before, it made you waste time killing more enemies and didn't benefit those who supported the game from the beginning. Wow.
Oh, I remember about that.
Yeah. I did not remember until you just read that from Wild West response, but
That's
how could you
awful.
not give people the credit for the things they've done previously? That's
The achievement is actually for getting 5,000 kills in public versus matches from March 2018 and onward. And
Does
the
it
game
really
came
say
out
March
in
2018?
2016. So therefore, if you got any public kills in 2 years, they didn't count for that achievement.
that's not acceptable. When you're trying to reward long-term players, that's really not cool, Coalition.
And Seriously 4.0 is to complete Insane Campaign, Ribbons, Rank Placements, Horde Maps, Re-Ups, Classes, and 5 Skills. Great. I'm more familiar with Seriously 1 and 2. 1, of course, was 10,000 multiplayer kills in Gears of War 1. But at least that one, you can find a boosting group like Chewie did. You can get 6 people together, and for a few hours, you can have a good time. Good in quotes.
It was August 2012 was when we were wrapping it up, so it's almost 10 years.
And that's a 360 version of Gears, and yes, those servers are still going. Insane to think about.
For
in
now.
Gears of War 2, they upped the ante to 100,000 kills. And that's another
insane.
one, kind of like what Michelle was talking about, well past, I believe I got every other achievement in the game and had like, I don't know, a few thousand kills out of 100,000. And that, of course, if you had a Hori controller, you can set the 2 sticks in such a way where you can do the last stage over and over and rack up some kills while you were AFK.
Right, at
so
least with Gears 2, it was
manageable.
100,000 any kills. It wasn't 100,000 multiplayer kills.
It makes it better.
Correct, right.
Right.
Yes.
In some ways, that's better.
So Seriously 3.0 is where they lost me. Now, it involved getting the Onyx medals, and you got medals for getting kills, you got medals for doing things in the story, medals for everything. The medals themselves were cool, but you had to do so many tedious things like wingman wins and just crazy stuff. And I remember going through that one arcade level over and over. Do you remember that, Michelle? You had to like shoot.
Maybe we can make it. Yeah, I remember.
Right, I remember that. But you had to shoot certain things. And
Yeah,
get
because you had to get a certain
multiplier up.
score. Right.
Yeah, the 8 times multiplier. I don't know. Michelle and I actually have a friend who got this achievement in like 9 months. He triple boxed it, and then he quit achievements altogether after getting this achievement.
It broke him.
For years.
Yeah. He just came back around to them fairly recently.
He went on that other console instead for a little while, but I'm not sure how much of a trophy hunter he was. I don't think it was quite the same. But yeah, and that's something I hear fairly common is people won't even play the Gears games, which makes me sad because I love them.
Yeah.
But I hear that from people, or they played the first couple and then stopped. Like Wild West said, he stopped at 4. He didn't play 5. It's sad.
And I think the other thing with Seriously 3 in particular, with the Onyx medals, and I can't speak to this if this continued in 4 and 5, because I'm not going to get the Seriously achievements, so I don't focus on them. It wasn't just that you needed to get all the Onyx medals, it's that the pacing of them wasn't great. So getting the lowest level Onyx medal was like get 10 kills. Getting the next one up was like 50. Getting the next one up was 100, but then getting Onyx would be like 10,000 kills. There was such a long gap. It wasn't quite that dramatic, but everything was that way, where the gap between having a gold level medal and an onyx level medal was so wide that you just spent a long time feeling like you were accomplishing nothing. And that's the biggest problem with achievements. Like, seriously, the 100-hour achievement I noted before, the prominence poker achievement.
Yes.
If there were achievements along the way that you were getting, it wouldn't bother you as much. But to get 50 hours in a game and be done with everything, and know you've got another 1,000 hours of gameplay before you for one achievement, that's where we get lost.
Sure.
So
And
I know
some
you guys.
people- yeah.
Oop.
Go ahead, Ken.
Well, I know you guys haven't completed Gears 5 yet, but have you looked at the
Uh.
seriously achievements for that?
No.
No,
Not at all.
because they did so many title updates in 4 and 5 that I just don't care. I'll do the story, get what I get. But for the completionist people, that's the issue. Like, I like
Well,
completing games, but I'm not going
sorry.
to go out of my way for those. No,
Well,
thank
the
you.
reason why I say seriously achievements is there's actually 2 in 5. You have Seriously 5.0 Chapter 1 and Seriously 5.0 Chapter 2. So not only is it you have to do one insane grind, you have to do it twice.
Thank you.
And it looks like there's some crossover to it, but at the same time, I don't know exactly how the campaigns work. So, like in Chapter 1, you have to do Insane Campaign. In Chapter 2, you have to do Inconceivable Campaign. So I don't know if you do Inconceivable, does it count that you've also completed Insane? Or do you have to do both? If you have to do both, that's even worse.
I guess
And
some
then,
Go ahead.
also real quick, you also have to do, in Chapter 1, you have to do 20 re-ups, whatever that is. And then in Chapter 2, you have to do 50 re-ups. So at least
Well,
it sounds
re-ups
like
are
you're making some.
prestiging, right? So you
Okay,
get
that's
from 1
what
to
I
100 and then you re-up. So Gears 3 had initially released with an achievement to re-up once and then one to re-up twice. And then I think in a title update added a re-upping a third time.
Okay. Yeah, I've never really played the multiplayer to them, so I have no idea what kind of a grind it is to get to level 100. I assumed a re-up was like a prestige from Call of
Mhm.
Duty. Well, if it's anything like the prestiging in Call of Duty, doing that 50 times would be insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's so much.
I mean, if you are really intending to go after those achievements, you're going to re-up a bunch along the way, I imagine. I don't know, like, how much it's actually spread out across things, or if they have multipliers or things like that. Like, I remember in Gears 2, right, by the end of it, there were, like, 20-time multiplier events to get people through those achievements. And I don't know if they've run anything like that for Gears 4 or Gears 5. But I wanted to just point out, like, it does say something about how small really the achievement hunting community is, because we all know people or know of people who will not touch Gears games. Hasn't stopped them from putting these achievements in there. So it doesn't make that big of an impact in the end that a small group of people are like, well, I'm not going to play this game, because that it has not stopped them from making them more and more ridiculous with each iteration of the franchise.
I would love to see the management team or whoever is in charge over at the Coalition when they're making the list and them just rubbing their hands together maniacally and laughing of what can we throw into the seriously achievement this time?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what it is. That's all it really is. They know achievement hunting's a thing. They know people are going to go with it for these things. They know people are going to complain about how difficult it is. So they're just trying to up the game every single time, which in a way I respect.
Absolutely.
I would do it too.
Well, because as bad as the seriously achievement is, like, they put in some really clever and fun achievements throughout the rest of the list. Like, there's always interesting stuff to look for. I'm sorry, Al, you were going to say.
I was saying, you can make the argument that for Gears 1, they didn't know what they were doing. But by 2 and onward,
they
knew what they
absolutely
were doing. Yeah. They knew.
I imagine there was a lot of people back then after 1 that was complaining about it. So they're like, oh yeah, well, screw you. Here's Seriously 2.0. I'll do it again, but worse.
Mm-hmm.
There
now
is
it's just
one
a running joke.
There is one that's doable. It's in Gears of War Judgment, called Seriously Judgmental. and that is for completing all the declassified missions on insane difficulty. I'm pretty sure there's a little cheat you can do where you go through on casual and then your buddies can like load in at the end on insane and they'll get credit for it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's nice.
It's
The one
pathetic
in
that you have to do
Gears
that,
Tactics
but
seemed
yeah.
doable also. Sorry.
What did you say, Kenny?
He said he's going to go through all of Gears Tactics and get seriously by next week.
I'm sure.
Not.
I'm sure.
That's what he said.
The other week when I was talking about Gears Tactics, I looked up the seriously tactical achievement, and it seemed doable. Obviously, it's still going to be ridiculously difficult because you have to beat the game on whatever the highest difficulty is. But like, it seemed more doable than the others, or at least it's not as bad of a grind. It's just more skill based, which makes sense in the tactics game than just grinding.
All right, I wanted to pick a couple myself. One that came to mind immediately was a seriously wannabe, which was in Undertow for killing 10,000 enemies, which is another one where once you get everything else, you probably have about 1,000 kills at most.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just grinding and grinding, and you're only getting like 30 or 40 kills each time you go through the level. It's terrible. I don't know if I'll ever bother with that. I've tried. It's so boring. But then there's some skill-based ones that are not really the fault of the devs, but I just don't like them. Like in the Halo Master Chief Collection, when you got to beat Halo 1 and 2 on Legendary in under 3 hours. If you're a Halo god, you can do that. But I'm looking at it, and there's like 4,000 or 5,000 people that have gotten these out of, 450,000.
Which
I guess
achievement?
they're fair, but I just don't like them. And the lassos, I don't know.
Oh yeah, the lassos are the worst.
And then there's another game where all the achievements are easy except for one. And that is Lego Rock Band. Michelle will know this one.
Oh, yeah, I do.
So, yeah, there's an achievement for scoring 100% on the guitar solo in the final. 467 people have it, 8.69 ratio. But the rest of the game is really not bad. So those kind of suck, especially for Lego Rock Band, which is definitely made with kids in mind.
Now,
so,
I want to see what the solo looks like.
Those are a few that I thought of. I'm sure I could think of more.
All right. Well, in that case, Nate, what you got?
Well, I'm going to read what Death Dealers wrote, and she has picked Battlefield Hardline, Enforcing the Law. And she also says this one, any of the other 3 grindy as hell class kill achievements. So what you have to do here is get 10,000 kills with the Enforcer class. And then you also have to do, they had some other ones too. 3 other classes, basically. But you're still getting 10,000 kills per. And when they released it, just like Elle was saying, they did not prorate prior earned kills. So if you'd already had 40,000 kills, none of them counted across 4 classes. So, yeah, that's super annoying. Now, what I picked, and what I was searching for while you guys were talking Gears, which I don't know too much about, I picked something very recent while I was trying to search for a really old game that I can't think of. Briefly, that old game only had a few achievements. It was not a very well played game. And all of the achievements had horrible names and horrible descriptions. So you had no idea what they were. Apparent, maybe they're achievable. We don't know because not enough people have played it. And the descriptions don't tell you what to do. So you kind of have to guess. That's a horrible kind of achievement. But more specifically, the more recent game I'm going to pick is the Stanley Parable.
Oh, good
interesting.
one. Yes.
Interesting.
So, and the Stanley Parable actually has 2 that are kind of stupid. Let's start off with the least stupid of the 2. And that is for, the achievement is called Commitment. Play the Stanley Parable for the entire duration of a Tuesday. So you have to play an entire Tuesday. If you want to do it legit, you have to give up your Xbox for an entire Tuesday. Now, TA has a solution for you to cheese that, of course. We're not worried about the cheesing. We're talking about like what developers actually expect you to do, because they got very upset when they found out that people were cheesing their second achievement that I'm going to get to, and they called us losers, and they said that you learned nothing and you got nothing out of this. But yeah, so the first one is playing for All Day Tuesday. on a Tuesday. The second really crazy achievement that is achievable is Super Go Outside. Don't play the Stanley Parable for 10 years. And of course, people pop this on day one by manipulating the clock. But if you had done it the way the developer intended, it would take you 10 years. You may not even own an Xbox in 10 years. This game may not even be playable in 10 years. Mm-hmm. You may not be alive in 10 years. And you're going to sit there with an incomplete for 10 years. That's unacceptable to some people. Not me, but yeah. If you were going to do it legit, that's a pretty bad achievement.
It's a very stupid achievement.
Yes. When I can find that game, I will report back. And of course, it may be in the middle of the show, and I'll scream it out like I always do.
Was it like a puzzle game?
No. It was a left to right platformer, but of course, you can't trust TA's genres. So it wasn't under platformers. It wasn't under action. So I had to just go and
the achievements were bad?
The achievements had bad descriptions. They were, they would say the name of the achievement, and they would just have like a little blurb, but it didn't tell you what to do.
I remember they were sort of in Mullet Man. It was just like, Mullet Man isn't impressed.
It was Mullet Man. Thank you.
Oh,
it was Mullet Man. I figured it out, guys. It's
Nice.
Mullet Man.
Good memory, Nate.
It was terrible because you play through it and it's just, you're guessing. And because, especially early on, no one had unlocked any of it. It's like, we think this is an Iron Man mode achievement, but maybe it isn't an Iron Man mode achievement. And since no one can unlock it, we don't really know. Yeah, I remember that being frustrating.
I was looking back at 2017 games that I had played. I played this in 2020. So I had already way shot past. But yeah, it's still
Mullet Man and the Mole Men. Mullet Man and the Mole Men.
And
okay.
And
still
the achievement that bugs me is called Virgin Savior. Real heroes don't get laid.
Lovely. Yeah, there's still no. Oh wait, it says one person has it. Or do they always have one person?
Yeah. So I have no idea. I've emailed the developer. Like no response. They don't care. So.
Yeah, I have no idea. When you click where it says One Track Gamer on TA, like nobody actually. Usually, you would see the list of people unlocked it. Nobody's on the list. So
that means they got removed, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I thought cheesed it with a cheat method or something.
I thought they automatically put one gamer so ratio can be formed or something like that.
Oh, is that the case?
Maybe.
I want to say.
I don't think so. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's the case.
I've seen lots of games with 0. Yeah.
It makes sense, actually, but I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
All right. Someone let us know.
I'm sure someone's screaming at the podcast right now.
Mental, tell us what the answer is.
Tell us how wrong we were. It's okay. We can handle it.
All right.
Well, that was Mullet Man and the Mole Man. So there was a little bit more to it.
Yes.
Horrible.
All right. Well, let's read the final patron response from Creature Backwards. He says, generically, the worst achievements are the unlock all other achievements ones, as they are notoriously buggy. Rather than looking at all the Xbox achievements and instead of focusing on games that would interest me, the worst one is reach level 99 with a hardcore character in Diablo 2. Level 99 is already a grind as it is, but with the added potential of having a character completely wipe out and lose all progress at a second's notice. What? That sounds awful. Yes, you can play offline and save scum if you die, but it's still hundreds of hours at the end for each level up. The worst one I've personally unlocked is probably completed all the requests within Gauntlet mode in Warriors or Orochi.
It's a
free
Orochi.
ultimate
Mm-hmm.
Orochi. I should trust my gut. You can only accept up to 5 at once, and there's over 100 of them if I remember correctly. Easily adds over 100 hours to the game just because of unnecessary endgame grinding. So yeah, I've never played Diablo 2. I didn't realize that your characters had like a permadeath or something like that. I imagine, Nate, you know about this.
Yeah, it's just called the hardcore mode, and it exists in Diablo 3 as well. But yeah, so it's just permadeath. If you character dies, they're gone. You have to start over.
That sounds awful.
I don't have any problem on the surface with unlock all achievements. Like, I understand they mostly come from Platinum achievements. There isn't a corollary to that on Xbox, so that's sort of how they port it over. I do agree that it's annoying that so many of them are busted, although I feel like that's gotten better-ish, maybe? But
I feel like so too.
in and of themselves, I don't think there's anything wrong with them other than potentially them being a little lazy. Like, that's another achievement spot that you could have put into earning something else. But this
Exactly.
other stuff, that sounds pretty terrible.
Yeah, they just have a tendency to not work. And even when they do work, like in the Arc System games, you have to dashboard and boot the game back up again to get it to pop every time. So it's just stupid. No likey. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Rutarek.
Yeah, when I first read this question, the very first thing that popped to my mind, like Freem, was the billionaire achievement, just because it is an unnecessary grind. But then I thought of another one that is just a stupid grind. And it's really not even a grind because you can idle it. And that's the one in Star Balls for playing for 500 hours.
Yes. A lot of people went on about that one.
That's bad. That's bad for your bill. Your electric bill.
It's bad for your Xbox. It's bad for your
bad for
bill.
everything.
It's literally bad for everything.
Yeah, we won't even mention
This is a game that you don't want to play any more than 7 hours, and here you're forcing someone to sit in the game for 500.
But the thing with that is you can play it over several days, right? You can do that just at night when you go to bed.
Well, you
But
take
Stanley Parable wants you to do 24 hours straight. So unless you're gone for the weekend, it's not convenient.
Yeah, both are stupid.
Yes.
I will say with Star Balls, at least they do give the, spend 5 hours in levels 10, 24, 50, 100, 250, 500. So at least there's, a little bit of leadway there because you get some achievements here and there as you're going through. But seriously, 500 hours? Nobody wants to put that much time into your game.
You just made me think of the gold standard. Thanks, Kenny. The gold standard, of course, being Graw, which not only has one bad achievement, but 3.
Because it's been so many years since an achievement like that has happened, I guess. But yeah, go ahead, Elle. It's a really great
Put them out
show.
of our mind. Yeah, basically, they're all leaderboard achievements to get to the top of the leaderboard. And anybody I know who's gone for this achievement has done it with like 8 Xboxes. It's absurd. And you have to just keep knocking yourself down and letting them win again and then beating them. And there's a whole process.
There was also the fight night or something like that. There was one where there was an online achievement where you had to earn a certain belt, but people would actively block the belt. So the achievement itself probably worked fine, but people were players were making that achievement a real pain. And when you allow players to control that much of how somebody else earns an achievement, there are people who go out of their way to make it difficult for people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so going back to Graw, looks like there's about 130, 140 people that have gotten all 3 of them.
Oh, good for them.
And this was the first.
Wow.
This is one of the first big Xbox games with 100,000 people playing it. And they all have 20...
Phenomenal game.
Yeah. And to make matters worse on top of them, they're worth uneven gamer score
in
the game. So if you want that nice 1,000, you have to get all the achievements.
Yeah, I think on that note, it's probably
32G.
Probably time to move on to talking about more recent gaming ventures.
All right. Well, in that case, if we want to
is Stanley Parable available on PC as well?
Yes.
Yeah,
Question mark?
It started out there, I believe, as a Steam game, and this 10-year achievement
existed.
Okay,
yes, that I know. I meant PC Game Pass or whatever, or Windows 10.
Is there an achievement enabled online like or PC version?
I would say, that would be easy enough to just leave on somewhere for a day.
It's terrible no matter what.
People are cheating them already. It's okay.
All right. Yeah. But thanks for the question. Thank you for the responses. That was fun talking about. Let's get into the game showcase. Nate, you're up first.
All
What
right.
game would you like to talk about?
The game I'm going to talk about is Little Misfortune. Now, this is an adventure, point and click, so I know immediately people are gone, and that's fine.
Bye.
This game took me about 5 hours. You play a girl with a horrible accent. If you've watched that, Amazon show, Inventing Anna, it's like that, but it's from a little kid. So you can imagine a little kid pretending to be Anna and Devaney or whatever her name was. And yeah, it's pretty bad. But
Worse than my
it kind
accent?
of grows on you. It kind of, yes. I was actually going to make a joke saying it sounds like L is it's an accent worse than L's version of Waka.
Wow.
It rivals your Waka impersonation. But they stick with it, and it kind of grows on you. You kind of get to like this this little girl's accent as you go along. Maybe not. So she, as her name might imply, Little Misfortune. A lot of bad things happen around her, and the gameplay, you basically move left or right, and when you are over something you can interact with, a little eyeball will pop up and you click A, and then you have some options. Sometimes you can, open that thing up and then look at multiple things by pushing different directions on the left stick, and sometimes you can navigate through books or whatever, and every now and then there might be a comment on a book because there's a little eyeball. There's a lot of stuff that you can dig into, and you can interact with a lot of hotspots. You don't need to do that. And what I would recommend doing is checking out the walkthrough. The walkthrough is pretty good. Does a good job of not spoiling anything. But the intro to the walkthrough said, hey, why don't you just give it a try? This is an enjoyable game. Just do it naturally and then come back and do cleanup. Now, when you do cleanup, you do have to do a full run through. You can't just pick it. There's no chapter select or anything. So I said, why not? I'm done with my my Game Pass leaving game for the first half of the month, so I've got plenty of time. Let me just enjoy this game. And I would recommend maybe don't do that because I feel like I wasted a little bit of time. Like I said, it took me about 5 hours, and I probably could have gotten done in 3 if I'd used the walkthrough. But like I said, the walkthrough does a very good job of not spoiling anything. It tells you where to save so you can go back. It allows you to explore freely, and it just highlights the things you need to do to get the achievements efficiently. I did not get them efficiently. I played this in 2 big sections. I played it on one day, and I got 21 achievements, and I saw the end credits. To get the other achievements, you either have to play through a second and a third time if you're just going to play naturally, or you can use that save scumming method where you just save, you do a thing, you go back, you do the other thing. There's actually only one situation where you have 3 options, I think. So that's why you have to play it that third time through. But like I said, the walkthrough does a very good job of explaining and guiding you through that so you're not wasting your time. The story is dark. It
looks it.
It's very dark. And the cutscenes, there's about 4 animated cutscenes that are actually kind of cool. I really like the animation style in them. And the story doesn't quite make a whole lot of sense your first time through, but by the time you get all the way to the end, it really does make sense. And then, so that second time I went through it, I was kind of like connecting some dots. It's not a complicated story, and you kind of have most of it figured out as you're going. But it's just interesting how everything connects when you get back to the other side of it and you start going through a second time. You can see all these other things that maybe you didn't see connecting the first time through. So that was interesting. The achievements will mostly be for collectibles. So you're going to be picking up these dolls as you go through. There are a couple achievements for getting to different places. There are achievements for doing certain actions and then doing the opposite action. So it is a pretty good mix. You're getting achievements as you go through, but there are 2 or 3 that you have to have a perfect run in order to get those achievements. So if you don't use the guide, there's a really good chance you're going to have to do a second run.
Definitely.
There are 3 save slots, so you could have saved. You could have been saving as you're going along, and maybe that would help you, and you wouldn't have to do a full playthrough. But if you use that guide, like I said, there's a really good job of walking through, getting the achievements, and not really ruining the story at all. So, yeah, I would say it was interesting, but I wish I had 2 hours back that I could put into another game. But yeah, Little Misfortune is not bad if you're, if you like that adventure point and click and you're maybe checking out that tower, go for it.
Looking at the clips on this game, I could not tell you what the heck is going on.
Yeah.
Some of the clips that's on TA though, it is dark, at least it looks dark.
It's super dark. I mean, there's a lot of death. There's there's like occultism. You don't expect to see that with this little girl, this little 8-year-old girl or however old she is. Yeah, it gets dark. Way darker than I thought it would be.
Where do you find these games?
Well, you see,
this is so out there.
There's the Xbox store,
Mm-hmm.
and what I do is I check the games that are coming out every week, and I do that every week.
This came out 2 years ago. Don't do that to me.
Yeah, well, no, I check. I look, and then when the price drops far enough, I get it. If I'm interested in it, and this was low enough one week, and I said, yeah, okay, why not? Let me see if that's true.
You paid full price.
It dropped down to just over $5 in February.
That could have been a sandwich, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so I picked this up earlier this year when it was around $5. So
it seems well received. It's got almost a 4-star rating on TA, which is not super common. You seem a little more neutral on it.
I wouldn't give it a 4.
Yeah, I'm curious why people would rate it that well.
Probably because they used the guide from the start.
I guess
and
so.
Just slammed it out. They were just getting easy points. See, when I see a game is 0 to 1 hour, I pretty much just say, okay, I'm not going to buy it. Because that's a waste of money. That's pointless.
Okay.
For me and for my interests.
But it's 1,000
something
points.
that's 2 to 3 hours, then I'm kind of like, okay, well, that might be worth $5.
Right, there might be some content in there.
Yeah, there might be some content. I'm interested in it. I'd pay $5 for 2 to 3 hours of entertainment. Yeah,
Sure.
it's cheaper than a movie.
It definitely is. All right. Yeah, that was Little Misfortune. I'm next. L, what game do you want to talk about?
All right. Going back to Stanley Parable real quick. I don't know if you guys saw the dev tweet out his disappointment in the people who cheated the 10-year achievement by going offline and changing the system clock and going back on. It says, you cheated not only the game, but yourself. You didn't grow. You didn't improve. You took a shortcut and gained nothing. You experienced a hollow victory. Nothing was risked and nothing was gained. It's sad that you don't know the difference. And the funniest part is
he doesn't even notice community.
It's funny. Well, the comment section is going crazy. Most people are upset about it, but other people are saying, no, this is tongue in cheek. This is a joke, and they don't really care one way or another. So, anyway, I wanted to talk about a game that is over 10 years old. So for me, I don't care. I would play Stanley Parable 10 years later. No skin off my back. I got plenty of 15-year-old games that I still have. The game I'm talking about is Torchlight, the first Torchlight, which came out in March of 2011. An Xbox 360, Xbox Live Arcade game. And I dived into this game, I believe, July 2013. So it was 9 years ago. So yeah. And yes, it showed up on my RTDL. But I said, you know what? I'm going to play this game. And so I did, and you know what? I've been enjoying it. It is a perfect game to play while doing, listening to something. The thing I love most about this game is the simplicity of it. For those who don't know Torchlight, it is a dungeon crawler similar to Diablo, but you could say that it is dumbed down a little bit. The first Torchlight is unfortunately
that doesn't sound like a bad thing.
What?
Sorry. I said that doesn't sound like a bad thing.
Well, to me, Diablo gets such a good rap. And to me, the thing I hate most is when in the middle of playing, you go to pick up that piece of inventory and it just stays there on the floor. And now you got to pause the game, and now you got to drop some stuff. Now you got to go back and sell some stuff. I hate that so much. In this game, Torchlight, you have a pet with you. And anytime you have too much inventory, you can give all the stuff to your pet and click a button and send him back to town, and he sells everything for you while you keep going. It is the greatest game mechanic I have ever seen. You could hold up to 50 things. So there's plenty of room for stuff. It's simple. Green arrow up, keep, red arrow down, send back with the pet, and sell. Now, unlike Diablo, the soundtrack is and the story is It's a very generic story. I was hoping for some more funny dialogue and stuff like that. There are 3 classes. There's the the tank guy, the destroyer, and then there's the alchemist, magic person, and then the vanquisher, which is the ranged expert, and that's why I went with. So I generally have either a gun or a bow and arrow equipped, and I stand back and shoot stuff while the pet goes up and punches things. I am playing on easy. Not going to lie. You can play on easy, normal, or hard. And yeah, I'm just having a blast with it.
Are you playing by yourself?
Yes. As I was saying, Torchlight 1 is only single player. That's what I was getting to.
Oh.
Torchlight 2 and 3 are co-op. I know a few weeks ago, Nate recommended to buy Torchlight 3 on sale. I'm kind of wishing I did now. But I'll look into 2 afterward. But yeah, those are long completions though. This one's like 8 to 10. Unfortunately, this one also. So most of the achievements are for beating the bosses. Very simple. Or for enchanting some weapons. But then there's one achievement, unfortunately, it's a little grindy, and that's to increase your fame. So basically, you just have to do quests. So after you beat the game, a dungeon opens up, and you just keep going in this dungeon, and eventually you do enough quests to get that last achievement. So I haven't gotten that far yet, but it looks to me from the solution that people are a little annoyed by this one. It bogs down the game, which is kind of the theme of what we're talking about this week. But I have been enjoying Torchlight. And yeah, nothing against Diablo. I mean, I like Diablo, but like I said, the inventory management gets me. And it's the same thing with some Western RPGs like Borderlands, or like in Final Fantasy, you can carry 99 potions and an infinite amount of swords and be on your way. You don't have to worry as much. And there's something to be said for not having to worry about that stuff.
So I see that Torchlight has a walkthrough on TA. Is this something that you've been consulting, or like you said, the achievements are mostly for beating major bosses, so you're just kind of going on your own?
No, I have not used a walkthrough. You don't need to. You just go.
That's surprising.
Well, there's nothing missable as far as I know. You just go. And you kill stuff. You're just going down one dungeon, down the floors.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real strategy if you're playing on easy, unfortunately. Maybe I should have put it on normal.
No shame in putting it on easy.
There's an achievement for enchanting one item 10 times. I did look at that one. So you find the enchanter, and the enchant will either be successful or fail. And if you're successful, then you quit out of the game and force it to save. But if you fail, you could just dashboard, and then it won't count. So that's the only little trick for a somewhat tricky achievement. But I have so much gold that I think I could just keep trying until it goes 10 times, because I don't buy anything. You don't have to buy anything. You could find plenty of loot. Yeah, this is a nice simple dungeon crawler on XBLA. There was what was that other one? Arcadian Warriors. There was a couple on there. So yeah, if anyone has an experience with this one, it looks like a lot of people have this completed. Back then in 2011, when you started a game, you finished it. I actually thought this game was older, to be honest.
Yeah.
2009. Yep. Windows in October 2009. Okay. Definitely shows its age, but I'm a simple man with simple tastes, and here we go. And it's backwards compatible, which is also nice.
That's the only way you can play it.
Yeah.
You don't want to break out the 360 to play anything.
Not really. Not unless I have to. So yeah, that was Torchlight. And yes, you can have fun with old games, despite what my son will tell you.
I don't know about that one.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's go to a not old game. Michelle, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I'd love to talk about Eiyuden Chronicle Rising. However, I only got to play it for about 30 minutes before we recorded today. So I don't think I'm quite ready to do a dive on that one. But I'll be back with that next week. For this week, I'm going to talk about In, spelled I-I-N. And I assume that's how it's pronounced. This is a game that actually came up on the sales section a few weeks ago. This game and Garoons, I believe, were both on sale, and they're both co-op puzzle games. I played through all of In, and it wasn't until after I finished it and Elle went, "Oh yeah, that's a co-op puzzle game," that I remembered that it was a co-op puzzle game. So, excuse me.
She pretending to not remember.
I definitely did not remember. In is about 2 to 3 hours according to TA. It took me 4 according to the timer on True Achievements. It has 80 achievements, and that's because 1 achievement is earned for completing each of the game's 80 levels. So it's all pretty easy. They're not creative, the achievements, but the gameplay is okay. It's very basic. In you have different blocks that you have to manipulate, and in each level there's sort of this pyramid with a light coming out of it that has a shape, and what you have to do is get one of the blocks with that shape printed on it to the finish. So the different blocks will interact with the level differently, and each level is just one screen, so there's no platforming in that way. It's just a single element, whatever you see there. You sometimes have spikes, and you sometimes deal with water, and sometimes occasionally with floating. Triangle blocks can move through spikes. Circle blocks float in water. And that's pretty much the extent of the physics in the game. You just have to figure out how to get those blocks from wherever they start to get the proper shape into the end. 79 of the levels were super easy. The final level, I'm still not 100% sure. Like, there's definitely some good way to solve it. I didn't figure out what that good way was. I just sort of muscled through it and got it done. The only thing to note, really, other than that, is for whatever reason, level 72 is glitchy. I finished the game. I was, all right, good. I'm done. I've done all the achievements. Fantastic. And then I saw I had 79 of 80. So what's going on here? 72 didn't pop. That's apparently a known thing. Level 72, for whatever reason, you just have to go back and redo it. There are, I want to say, 8 additional levels that were created for Xbox. These are not necessary to play for achievements, but I played them anyway. But yeah, when In was on sale, I think it was a couple bucks. It's normally only $5 anyway. And even at $5, if you're looking for a quick achievement hit, you can do a lot worse than this one. And it's allegedly multiplayer. I couldn't tell you in what way other than possibly each person can manipulate the different blocks, and maybe that'll make things go a little quicker. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed my time with it. It didn't overstay its welcome. Sometimes with these physics-based kind of games, or lightly physics-based kind of games, there is that kind of key point where the puzzles stop making sense. This never really got there. So I enjoyed it. It was a nice little quick shot of 80 achievements. So it's a good game to keep in hand if you're worried about competitions where you may need a bunch, or if you just need something easy on hand, or if you're looking for streak preserving type game. So I would generally recommend it. It was a good time at the right price.
Did you use a guide?
No, there's no need to. I imagine there are probably no written guides. I'm sure that can be done, but you'd spend more time reading the text than just playing the level. I'm sure there must be video guides, but there really wasn't any need to consult them. For the most part, even if you make mistakes, you can make your way back through and kind of undo things in the puzzle. If there are a couple times where mistakes are not correctable and there isn't a quick restart that I saw, so you do have to back out to the level select and then select the level again. But yeah, you shouldn't need a video for this one at all.
Yeah, I was just watching the walkthrough of how to beat each of the levels. It doesn't look like a terrible puzzle game.
No, it really, it's not. It's the kind of thing where I don't know what they could have done to make it any better than okay, because that's what it is. It's okay. But it for what it is, it does that well. It doesn't do it excessively. It doesn't introduce elements to it that might make the puzzles more engaging or interesting, but also make them frustrating at the same time. It was just a really chill kind of game to play for 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here, and those achievements come at you fast, because every time you finish a level, another one pops.
Yeah, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice, and this also seems like it might be good for contests or something like that if you need a lot of achievements or whatever. Because none of them look overly difficult.
Right, or if you're doing gamer tag challenge and you need an I that isn't the most common letter out there, so it's good for that as well.
And this is good for 72 weeks, or how many? 79? No, 80 weeks.
80. Mm-hmm.
80 weeks of derp.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're interested in that this is a perfect game for something like that. But it's almost because you can finish the levels so quickly. Like, I started playing in because it was drawn on my random to-do list. I got 2 achievements in it. And I told myself they're all pretty bunched together, that it's worth 1,263 TA for the 1,000 gamer score. So the achievements are pretty bunched together. But I told myself, like, I'm only going to play the first, 5 levels. There's no reason to rush. And then I had played, 20 of them. Because they're so quick that if you're just playing it to get the achievements, you can. But, yeah, you do one more and it only took 10 minutes and now you're 20 achievements richer. So you can kind of blast through the game that way. But it functions in either capacity depending on how you want to go about it.
This definitely looks like another one of those... let me just do one more type of a game.
Yeah, it can be.
I've never seen Michelle beat a game so quickly, though. Because of the achievement values.
Oh, geez. I didn't even remember that was a thing. Every achievement in the game ends in 2. 79 of them are worth 12 and 1 is worth 52. So it's also a great game if you wanted to balance out your gamer score and you had messed it up at some point, because plenty of easy achievements that do not end in a 0 or 5. But I had totally forgotten that, because this is not a game where you need to stress yourself about, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get all the achievements and wind up messing stuff up because I couldn't get back and earn some particular thing.
So odd that they do that.
It really is.
Yeah, right. I recommend In. It's good for a whole bunch of different purposes, and it's just, it will not stress you out, and it is nice when our games don't stress us out.
Amen to that.
Oh, there was something I wanted to mention. I had said that I had hoped that Torchlight would have had some more witty dialogue. There was one cool little Easter egg that I found in there. One of the magic spells is called I Love Bees. I'm going to assume Michelle maybe knows what that is, or maybe not. Does anyone know what I Love Bees is?
Sure.
Nope.
I mean, who doesn't, right?
Go ahead, Nate.
I feel like
what is it, Nate?
I probably should.
Is it Halo or is it Marathon? Because they're so closely related. I'm not sure which is which. I think it was Marathon.
Sounds like Marathon.
It's your first guess.
That in Halo whatsoever.
Go with your first guess always.
You sure it was Halo? I could have sworn it was Marathon.
It was the viral marketing campaign for Halo 2 in 2004.
Oh, I was a youngin' then. That's why I don't know.
Why would I know that? I
don't know,
totally never thought I would own a Microsoft console at that point.
Just because it's a thing. It's a thing. It's called I Love Bees. It was an alternate reality game that was in a Halo 2 trailer, and then people looked it up, and it wound up just growing and becoming a thing, and it all had to do with Halo 2. It's fascinating. Look it up, ilovebees.com. probably still exists. Let's see. And yep, it exists. This is terrifying. Okay, don't go here. Terrifying. Halt. Module core hemorrhage. What the hell?
Anyway.
This looks like my computer's going to explode right now. Seems on purpose. Anyway, yes, I love bees. Not as much as I love sails. Yes! Sailway.
You got the Sailway. What games are you going to recommend, Michelle?
Okay, I am going to recommend Color Symphony 2. And I'm always hoping, by the way, in the back of my head, when I recommend any game, that Nate actually knows something about it, because I typically don't. But Color Symphony 2, it's $1.99 down from $9.99. This game looks like Electronic Superjoy to me, but it has a polarity mechanic. So if you're not familiar with Electronic Superjoy, it's another one of those Super Meat Boy type games where you have to avoid a whole bunch of different obstacles to get to the end. And when you do the stage successfully, it takes about 30 seconds, but it actually takes you about 7 hours to get that one successful run done. But Color Symphony 2 introduces, or at least from the video I saw, introduces this whole thing where it looks like there are spikes there, but if you hit the right bumper, the spikes go away because you've switched the color. So that looks interesting. I tend to like games like that, even though I'm not very good at them. And at that price, sounds good to me. The other thing that caught my eye was Flashback 25th Anniversary Edition. So I played Flashback more than 25 years ago. The original Flashback came out in 1992. It was on the Sega Genesis, and it was billed as a CD and a cartridge. And it's really funny to think about that when we're now downloading a version that requires no physical media at all. But if you're interested in Flashback at all, there's actually, I want to say Flashback 2 was supposed to come out at some point this year. So this might be a good time to check it out and take a look at it. It's $3.99 down from $19.99. I don't know if it still plays like the old one did. The old one sort of had a Prince of Persia type vibe to it, and you would have to slowly walk to the edge of a cliff and jump very carefully, otherwise you would fall right down it. But it just, at the time, the animation and all, it was like mind-blowing. Which again, young Kenny, I know you're going to look at this and be like, oh, what garbage. But games evolved over time, and this game definitely was a part of that, and how we could see things moving as CD media started to be introduced.
Now, I feel like I've completed this game, but I only have one achievement in the original Flashback.
Oh.
But I remember playing this before it had achievements on another console or something. But yeah, Flashback's fantastic. And I'm very jazzed that I had forgotten there was a Flashback 2 in development. So I'm very excited.
I had forgotten about it too. I was doing some research before we recorded tonight, and I was like, oh yeah, that was announced for 2022. That's awesome. And I have not played the 25th anniversary release of it. TA says it's only about a 4 to 5 hour game. So it just seems like something that might be good for a little bit of nostalgia and possibly getting ready for something coming up in the future.
All right. What games do you want to recommend?
All right. Well, a couple weeks ago when we were talking about DLC, I had made mention about Days of Yore, YORE, when you could buy season passes. But I forgot there are still season passes. And there's one for our favorite game, Back 4 Blood, that's on sale right now. It is normally $40, but it is a more manageable $24 right now. I believe it contains access to 3 expansions, the first of which, Tunnels of Terror, is available now. So that's number 1.
Well,
number 2.
Sorry to cut you off real quick.
Go ahead.
And I apologize if you noted this and I just zoned out for a second.
Probably not.
But keep in mind that with Back 4 Blood, if one person in your 4-person crew purchases the DLC, you all get access to it. So it really $24 that essentially gets split between all the players is pretty fair, considering you're going to get the next 2 expansion packs as well.
Oh, good point. Kenny, you owe me $6.
No. We didn't agree upon this.
Fine. Prue, you owe me $24. So
I'm okay with that.
That's a good call, Michelle.
Wait, what's this $24 charge on my credit?
I bought it 4 times. It says you have to buy it annually. And I'm not necessarily one to praise our good friend Zidalon, but in this case, I am going to praise Zidalon because 2 of my favorite games are on sale, and that's 50 Years, which we've talked about a lot, and 2 Synchro Hedgehogs, which I also like a lot for some reason. And they're $1 off. They're $4 instead of $5, but seeing how our friend Zidalon is in the Ukraine, I think we're all doing our best to support him, and let's throw him a few bucks if we can. See, I could be nice sometimes.
50 Years is fun. I actually really like 50 Years a lot. I don't know if I would like it or be interested in playing it if it didn't have those very easy achievements as a gateway. But I like 50 Years a lot.
Yeah.
Very good, like, entry-level management style game.
I don't even know what you call the genre.
I hear a lot of people talk about 50 Years and say that's one of their favorites.
Yep. Speaking of 50 years.
Jeez.
What?
Shot fired. Nate, what games do you want to talk about?
Rude.
Cruise.
Don't you wish 50 years on me yet? So,
Oops.
talking about sales, that's what we're talking about. Murder Mystery Machine, $13.99 down from $20. Now, that's not a huge discount, but I think this game is interesting. I think you should check it out. This is an adventure game. It's a detective type game where you need to discover clues and then connect them in order to solve each murder case. So it's a little bit pricey, like I said, but I think you should go check out the screens. If you're into those kind of detective murder mystery type games where you're asking, you're interrogating people, you're putting things together, kind of like those Sherlock Holmes games, you might want to check this out and put a price watch on it. Next up is Helheim Hassle. This is $4 down from $20. It is a puzzle platformer. It is the same developer as Manual Samuel. And I think Elle typed in a thing here saying that Manual Samuel is $1. We're not talking about that.
Right now.
We're talking about Helheim Hassle.
Sorry.
Helheim Hassle. Now, I think Rocker streamed this back in the day, but I can't find any proof of that. Because I think we must have let the video expire or something. Or else it's not labeled Helheim Hassle. Maybe there's too many M's, like I keep saying. In this game, you can use different body parts. So they're still weird. They're still focused on body parts. You can take your head and throw your head and hit something on the wall. That opens panel. It's weird. If you played Manual Samuel, this doesn't sound weird. It's basically that same type of humor, that same type of
Rocker's Weird Wonders.
You might want to check it out. Next up, Clumsy Rush and Brawl Chess Family Bundle. This is $1.50 down from $15. Now, Elle talked about Clumsy Rush a couple weeks back. Don't listen to that. It's a great game. I think I've never played it. But I think that one achievement that he was having issues with or whatever, you'll get around it. It's it's almost free. It's almost free. It's $1.50. And the Brawl chess game doesn't look too difficult to play either, or to get all the achievements for. And finally, it's taking a long time, I'm sorry, Asura's Wrath DLC. This is a 360 game. It's backwards compatible. The DLC, as far as I can say, has never been on sale. So this is the first time ever. So check it out. If you're going to get everything, it's $7.50 down from $15. That includes 5 DLCs. Only 3 of those contain achievements, though. So if you only want the achievements, it's $5.50 down from $9. The other 2 episodes that you're going to be downloading apparently are just cutscenes, and they're $1 each. So I don't know. If you really like this game, check it out. I checked my friends list. Not too many people have the bare 1,000, and we're waiting for that DLC to come in. But a lot of people love this game. It's quirky. It's weird. It's basically a quick time event, the game, with a lot of cutscenes. So there you go.
Now, I have a question.
Oh, I may not have an answer, but I'll try.
Why does Wrath begin with a W? I mean, that just makes no sense.
Okay, so this is going to take a long time.
Yes.
We have to go back through history.
English are stupid.
That is correct. That is the correct answer. English are stupid.
All right.
The W's can't be silent, right? Good.
Games with Gold's Way.
Oh,
Gold's Way.
Come on, Kenny.
All right. Games that you can download for free if you don't actually want to spend money. Yoko Islands Express, available all month. Coming Tuesday, if I got that right. The Inner World, The Last Wind Monk, which will be available May 16th to June 15th on the 360, available for the next few days when you're hearing this, Hydro Thunder Hurricane. And then after that will be Viva Pinata Party Animals. On the Game Pass side, we got Floppy Nights coming May 24th.
Why does Nights begin with... Never mind.
Bad.
I could just see Kenny there with a rolled up newspaper smacking his laptop or his, computer monitor.
Bad, Al, bad.
No.
And then by the time you're hearing this, there'll be about 3 days for you to complete the following games as they are leaving Game Pass on the 15th. That is Final Fantasy X and X-2 Remaster, Enter the Gungeon, Steep, The Catch, The Wild at Heart, and Remnant from the Ashes. Either get them now while they're 20% off, or hurry up and complete them. Probably the former, as you're probably not going to be able to complete any of them. But let's go to some contests. Nate, what we got for the Gamer Tag Challenge? I assume we're not going to be nearly as confused this week.
Well, no, because I cut and paste this from last week, so we're not going to talk about that. Go to the channel, look for the details there.
Okay, there we go.
Who's the gamer tag?
The gamer tag I do know. That's Beast.
Oh, forget him. Forget him then. He said he was listening to our old podcasts, which I, unlike Corey, I do recommend. We were amazing then, and we're even more amazing now. And he said
they were amazing then. They're not amazing now.
He said he was listening to episode 0, and I was nice back then. I don't know what he's talking about, but thank you, I think.
Don't
Not sure if that's
compliment Al. It'll go to his head.
It's true. Usually goes to my belly.
All right. All right. Well, in that case, let's get into Brag Camp. Take it away, Michelle.
Proclamation point.
That's something you haven't heard in a very long time.
This is true. In completions, Hatton90 has reached 150 completed games, and he has done that right alongside KT Echo, who has reached the same milestone. Mark B is at 350 completed games. Retro Chief 1969 at 600 completed games. Hey, that's me, has reached 650 completed games, meaning me. Kitty Skies has reached 850 completed games. Slayer Reigning at 950 completed games. And Magic Monkey at 1,500 completed games.
In ratio, Bastion Reader has a new ratio of 2.1. And we don't have weird things going on because of G-Task finals.
Ooh.
In streaks, Aptos 84 is currently on a 50-day achievement win streak. I'm Mike Zero with 250. It's a Livex with 600. A Rossos Ross with 950. Morbid 237 with 1,050. And hey, no, it's Enigma Gamer 77 with 1,250. Seamus McLimey with 2,050. And then my joke of, hey, it's Matrarch is currently on a 3,150-day achievement win streak.
Yes.
That is so long. In Gamerscore, Unstoppable KD has hit 250,000 Gamerscore. Hat 90, 350,000 Gamerscore. Mark B, 550,000 Gamerscore. RPG Davey, 950,000 Gamerscore. Lord of Dookie 69, 1.1 million Gamerscore. Slayer Rain has hit 1.4 million Gamerscore. Magic Monk Eye has hit 1.5 million Gamerscore. Jimbot UK, 1.6 million Gamerscore. Snipe by a Girl, 1.7 million Gamerscore. And Mental Knight 5 has hit 1.8 million Gamerscore.
Leaderboards. Alex R. Davis is now third in the TA leaderboard for Metroidvanias. Not to be confused with Nate's new favorite genre, Mootroidvania, Which
That game is so bad.
What's
Don't
it
don't
called?
hype it.
What's it called?
Moolander.
Moolander?
It's so bad.
It's bad.
Don't hype it.
Aw.
It's bad. It's not great.
But you know what? It's memorable. You see, like I always complain about these games with generic names, and they look like everything else. This one at least is memorable. What's it called again? Anyway, Heizo is now in the top 10 of the Arizona Achievements 1 leaderboard. Bastion Reader's in the top 10 of USA completed games for the Xbox One shoot 'em up genre. Mark B is in the top 20 of the United Kingdom TIA leaderboard. Mental Knight is in the top 20 of the TIA leaderboard for card and board. And the Alpha Seagull is in the top 1,000 of the New York TIA leaderboard for simulation racing. In braggadocious brag camps, it's mostly a lot of people completing difficult games that I am jealous of. Leap of Faith 77 completed Loot River in 19 hours across 3 days or 2 days. He said he had
dedication.
a 4-hour session, a 9-hour session, and then a 7-hour session.
Dedication.
I didn't see if he was the first to complete it, but he must have been up there.
He was at the time that I looked.
19 hours in 2 days. I believe Fug asked him if he used accessibility, and he said yes. I don't know what that means. Do you, Nate? I think you dabbled in this.
Yeah, it makes the combat easier. I didn't look too in depth into it because I just want to try it naturally and initially.
Not be a cheater.
But I'm not saying those words.
Oh, me neither. It was.
I wanted to sink some
out.
more. I wanted to sink some more time into it before I talked about the game. But the accessibility, I thought said just make combat easier, which I assume means you can do more damage, they do less damage, that sort of thing. So I'll know more about this maybe next week.
That's fantastic. Beast Mode completed I Am Bread. Logic Slayer completed Far Cry 6. EL Sock, it's in the game, completed Elden Ring. Tropan completed Lost in Random, and he said it was fun and chillax. Awesome. And Skeptical Mario completed Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. And Inigo Montoya was 6th in the world to complete 100 Bullets. And he's went on to say this is a really great game, and it's a shame not many folks have started it. Sorry, nice twist on a shmup with heavy puzzle elements. I highly recommend it. Big L, you are the best host and very handsome. Oh, thanks, Inigo. You are great also.
Did you ask Mario why he beat the game twice?
Because
God.
Oh man.
he doesn't.
I don't expect
give me
that
time.
from you.
I'm sorry. It's way
that
too
from
late. But you didn't give me time. You
I'm
moved
gonna
on to Amiga
say
too quickly.
that you've been hanging around us too long. We're gonna need to get Devin back here. Do you need to play Shadows Die once before playing this? No, you do not. All right. Well, excellent job, all of you braggy people.
Yes. Good job, everyone.
I need to go back to some Torchlight. Yay.
Well, that will wrap it up for us this week. Be sure to stay tuned and listen to the extra content we got coming.
Is it me singing?
I hope not. God.
I love bees.
Because if there's more of you singing, that's really going to hurt people from trying to sign up for our Patreon at patreon.com/achievement hunting 101.
I promise to not sing if you sign up.
There you go. And always, join the Discord, discord.io/age101. Come be a part of the community. And then all of our other things, you know where to find us. Everything is down in the show notes, which L works very hard on each week, and he gives away codes every single week.
I do.
So
They're always in there.
Always in there.
And you said hard on?
I'm telling you.
Yeah,
Right,
I give away codes.
That,
What? You know what happens at the end of the podcast, and I'm all delirious, okay?
Yes, it's very late.
Mm-hmm.
But
See you
why
next
did
week.
he beat it twice?
Do what?
Why did he complete it twice?
Oh,
Mario, let us know, dude.
Oh my goodness.
Nate's delirious. Kenny's asleep.
Wrap it up, Kenny. Wrap it up.
no, we're out. Class is dismissed.
We're out. More teachers need to end the class like that. Get out. Get on. Bye, everybody.
All right.
Class is dismissed.